Welcome back to Local Sports Break. We've got our final segment here of the show. We have Dr. Mitch Frix from Associates in Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. And Dr. Frix, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. It's good to be here.
Thank you. We got a topic we wanted to talk about, and I think you and I, when we talked on the phone earlier in the week, there's been several things in the news lately. Two big items. Thomas Harrion of the 49ers, a lineman, passed away, and they're talking about heat exhaustion, and then a co-captain at Illinois Wesleyan died. Why don't you talk a little bit about heat exhaustion and what to look for?
Well, football in the South or anywhere, heat exhaustion is a concern. And I think the thing we need to know as coaches and as other players is to look for the signs of heat exhaustion. And I think some of the first signs we see are dizziness, profuse sweating, fatigue, and also you'll notice their mental capabilities may decrease. In other words, if you've got a player who misses an assignment one or two plays in a row and it's a hot day, you may want to look at that player and make sure that he's not dehydrated.
How about a lot of talk about the size of these linemen, 300 players over 300 pounds in the NFL. How do you feel that affects and kind of contributes to these heat issues that we've had?
Well, it does, and especially if you look at a thing called body mass index, which actually looks at the height and the size and the weight of an individual. Those kind of heavy individuals can lose so much water and get in trouble faster than someone who maybe has a little less or a lower body mass index.
Now, what kind of things can we? Hopefully, we've got a lot of high school kids watching, a lot of rec league, middle school age kids. What kind of things can they do during the week before they go out and play on Thursday or Friday to prepare themselves to withstand the heat?
I think that's the most important thing, is being prepared for the heat. I think especially in high school age kids and college, it starts with getting acclimated to the heat, because studies have shown that if you exercise in the heat and gradually become acclimated, which actually takes about 10 to 14 days, that number one, you sweat earlier in the exercise, you sweat a more dilute sweat so you don't lose the salt, and overall you can stand being in the heat longer.
So the old thing that Coach Chappell used to tell us about, don't sit inside in the air conditioning all summer or you're going to really suffer when you go to camp, was probably pretty true then, right?
Coach Chappell was right. Not only is it suffering, but it can be unsafe. The other thing is to hydrate early. You can't start hydrating on Friday for a game on Friday night, or you can't start hydrating the day of two-a-days. You really need to start hydrating on Wednesday if you've got a game on Friday. Before any exercise competition heat, you should probably consume at least 20 to 24 ounces of some type of sports drink or water. And then
let me interrupt you for a second. Because one of the big questions that people talk about all the time is it better to drink a sports drink like Gatorade or Powerade, or should they be drinking water?
Both are good. Water cannot take the place of some type of sports drink to replace the sodium, potassium, and electrolytes. Some people will drink water during the event. Probably the advantage sports drinks have is that, number one, they have some fructose in them. They taste a little better, and individuals will tend to consume a little more of those than perhaps water. They are a little more, they're more expensive than water is the downside, but you do need something to replace those electrolytes that you lose in your sweat.
Now, how about the old days? I guess it was a doctor's nightmare with the boxes of salt pills that football coaches used to hand out. That was probably, I guess, exactly the wrong thing to be doing?
Well, I wouldn't say it was the wrong thing as long as those salt pills were given in the context of a lot of water with them. I mean, you can take salt tablets, and if you dilute them in water, you get almost an early sports drink just without the carbohydrates and the fructose in it.
Now, is there a temperature range where it's a lower temperature, I guess, where it doesn't become dangerous? Is there something at 80 degrees or 85 degrees or?
Well, in the South, the problem is the humidity, and the heat index is probably more important than the absolute temperature. And then when you take football, you take a player, you add 15 to 25 pounds of equipment, and it sort of limits the area of skin that people can sweat. The way sweat cools us is the sweat evaporates from the skin. And if you put 25 pounds of equipment on someone, it reduces the area that they have to evaporate that skin and reduce their core temperature.
Well, that's some really good information, and we really appreciate you being on here tonight, and look forward to you guys participating each week and having a segment with us. Thanks for being here.
Bill, it's great to be here.
All right. We'll be back to wrap up the show in just a minute.